Hello, nerds. It's time for The Sims. I know I've never done anything in The Sims before, but the game just came out for free for everybody. If you don't have it yet, go grab it. Sims 4 specifically, the base game is free now. It just is. Maxis was like, "Yeah, we make all our money on packs anyway." Anyway, it's also my birthday. Yeah, not that it matters. Let's see. What are we doing? Yeah.
Stream elements.
Okay, the alert just went out. So my loyals will be here soon. Presumably. I know I abruptly stopped playing the long drive. Um, but that was because pumpkin season was over. You can no longer gain any more pumpkins. So I went there, I did exactly what I wanted to do, and then I stopped for a break. I don't know how loud that is. I'll try to just not talk at the same time as those music stings because I did my absolute best to figure out the audio for this stream and I don't know if it actually worked or not. The camera keeps wanting to write up on these giant curtains I installed. If you have no idea what's going on, it's not you, it's me. I played for a couple days straight. I didn't know how involved I was going to
BKY.
be. Hey, BKY, what up? Thank you. I appreciate it. There's nothing happening today, so I decided to throw my own birthday party by playing The Sims and streaming. So here we are. I gotta do something about this curtain. I thought it was a good idea at first, but the camera can't figure out what it's doing with it. Every time I encroach on its territory, it freaks out and tries to climb it all the way up. Um, I should probably start with a tour, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna wait until more people get here. I am gonna destroy this curtain. It needs to go. Oh, that's right. I have browser music I was gonna play
BKY.
for this. Let's grab that browser music. There we go. Do parties exist in Sims 4? The Sims is built around parties. I forgot you've never played. Basically, the whole point of The Sims is it's about hosting parties and socializing. If you host parties the best, then you win in The Sims. But that's not how anybody plays it, of course. I'm also gonna move this ladder to the corner, I
BKY.
think, if I can figure out how to do that. Because the camera also likes to ride up the ladder. And that can be a little weird. It's behaving right now. I don't know why. You think you played the original, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, Sims memories can easily fade into a weird dreamlike state. We've all been there. The browser music still seems loud to me. I keep trying to test all the levels and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Well, either way, welcome to the stream. We're already 3.5 minutes in. That's wild to me. Let me know if the audio
BKY.
is terrible, because it might be. The song's alright because it's soft piano music. Yeah, I have all lo-fi. It's all supposed to be soft, but let me know if it ever becomes weird. Let's see. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Right, I want to replace the curtains, maybe? I don't know what a venue actually looks like, even though I keep going to them. I could have 2 full-length curtains on either side. But I don't know if any of these look right. Maybe this one. That can work. Those are pretty good. All I know is that when I was in theater, we had big red velvet curtains, and they were great. So now I don't want to live without them. Also, I'm doing a lot of things you shouldn't be able to physically do because I have turn cheats on, so if you see me doing something and you download the game and you're like, I can't do that, what are you doing? The Sims is also known for having a sort of, their cheats being like an open secret. So in The Sims 4, it's Control Shift C opens a little menu up here, and then you would have testing cheats, true, mine already is, and then bb.move objects.
BKY.
That turns on and off the ability to sort of like disable collision and normal placing rules. But if you want it to be less complicated, then just don't do these. But I like it because I end up getting really annoyed that I can't do the things I'm trying to do. And then Control Shift Sheet again to get rid of it. Rosebud? Yeah, I don't need Rosebud. It's so easy making money in this game. I have accidentally made $64,000. To me, as a poor millennial, that's a lot of money, but I guess you're supposed to be able to make that much? I don't know. Anyway, well, I have a mod. I have a lot of mods and custom content already installed. I've only been playing for like 2 days, and the last time I played The Sims was a long time ago. But this is my kind of game. I love The Sims. I'm the type of person who would go into like a Sims-fueled depression, you know, where like the only thing I do is play The Sims, and it gets really weird. But that's okay, because that's what The Sims is good at. It's like nobody will be there for you in your weird depressions except The Sims. And it's very good at it. That's perfect. What was I talking about? Besides weird depression? Oh yeah. Right now, I'm using weird placement stuff. Like, you use 9 and 0 to raise an object up and down. You use caret to rotate it. And you can hold Alt to move it around, not aligned to the grid. But since I have move objects on, it's already doing that. So I don't really need to do that. But if it were to place on a wall or something and it starts snapping to the grid there, I can hold Alt and then it goes back to smooth movement. Sims Economic Millennial mod would be scary. You only make enough to cover rent and food at any time you have an access. An emergency happens to drain your money. There are so many ways to roleplay in the mods. In The Sims, roleplay with or without mods in The Sims. It's actually pretty easy to do without mods. You just sort of like give yourself limitations, like refusing to take certain jobs, that kind of thing. It's actually pretty easy to give yourself like sort of roleplay challenges, just, you know, just because you want to. The Sims is great for that. There's so many different types of challenges people do online. Me, I'm not really trying to do much except just do whatever I want. Of course, when you do whatever you want in a very open-ended world, you usually end up giving yourself arbitrary restrictions anyway, just because that's who the character is. You know, ironically, I guess not ironically, but in an odd way, Sims has some overlap in gameplay with D&D. I know that's a weird thing to say, but that's how I feel. Is this too high up? Yeah.
BKY.
There we go. It's sort of like, how do you play your character? Well, you basically play them by giving them a set of rules. It's like, my character probably wouldn't do this, they probably would do this, and then you play according to those rules. The giant red curtains remind me of Paper Mario when you finish a chapter. Yep, those are called theater curtains. The classics, the classic theater curtains, are made of heavy, heavy, heavy red velvet that's also very soft to the touch and looks great on stage. I love theater curtains. They're so cool. The reason people have theater curtains is so that you can have backstage on stage. Which is to say, if somebody's presenting and they only need this little space, you close all the curtains behind them, and so they have a nice red velvet backdrop to speak in front of. But behind them is like the audio equipment, other people getting ready to come onto the stage, you know, like a person sitting here nervously awaiting for like their name to be called or something so they can go and announce something, you know, that kind of thing. And usually there will be doors to backstage areas. I could actually put doors here. I know the Sims won't be able to use them because this is underground and it'll just open out of nothing. But having little backstage doors might be cute. But anyway, yeah. Also, a lot of the times in plays, you'll have a narrator come up and do a narration in front of the curtain while everybody moves the set around behind the curtain. There's a lot of really cool stuff to physical theater.
BKY.
There's a lot of really interesting practices. You can put real fake doors. Yeah, normally you can't, but if I wanted to, I could go into the doors menu, just grab a door and place it here because I have cheats turned on. Normally you wouldn't be able to because there's no, you know, well, for one thing, it's at the end of the lot, and you usually can't place doors at the end of the lot. But for the other reason is it opens onto dirt, and it usually prevents you from doing that. Besides, even if it's here, the Sims won't be able to open it. I'm already cheating by having these windows in, because these windows you can't look through them into anything. It just goes into the void. By the way, this is a basement. I should make it clear, because you haven't really played much. The real stuff is up here. This is the actual lot. I accidentally put a giant tree in the front, so it's kind of hard to see things. I like to build with the sort of dollhouse model in mind, where you can look at the lot from the front and see everything you need to see. You know, like there's no walls blocking my view into the different rooms and stuff, and there's not really much in the backyard, and the stuff that is in the backyard has windows looking onto it, you know, that kind of thing. But if you come over here, what used to be a great view of the front yard is now just turned into the top of a tree. So that's fun. Hello, thanks for joining. Somebody looked like they stopped by for a second. This is my cow plants named Sweet Baby. I love my cow plants. I'll show you the house during daytime. Well, I guess it looks fine at night. So this is the bedroom of an adult man, because I want to. This is his tiny little study. Let's see. I'll just show you. So this is my main character. His name is Arthur Fontaine. And at some point he turned into a magical plant person, because he just got so good at gardening. And this is a homeless lady that enjoys splashing around in our pond for some reason. By the way, the pond has swans in it, and dragonflies, and fireflies, and all sorts of things. It's really good. There go the fireflies. Oh, our cow plant's hungry because we spent all that time goofing off in the basement. Alright, Fontaine, you gotta feed the plant. Can we move the tree? I tried. I think the only way to move it is to completely delete it, and I don't want to because it was hard to get. So I'm just gonna live life sideways now. That's totally fine. That poor homeless lady. If I hadn't put this fence up, she would probably be dead because this guy likes to eat people. Why do people do stuff with my plants? Oh, that's right. I have an auto gardening thing on. Living life isometrically. Yeah, exactly. So, this cow plant. So, like, a normal cow eats plants, but a cow plant eats meat because it's a plant. So this is actually a carnivorous plant modeled after, like, Audrey from the Little Shop of Horrors. Basically an oversized Venus flytrap. Which I actually have some of in my apartment. I just got a couple of little Venus flytraps. I didn't realize that they're actually endangered and super hard to grow. But mine are still alive. And I noticed that this sort of red coloring, where like the interior of the leaves is sort of red, is something that real Venus flytraps kind of do. Anyway, when the cow plant gets hungry enough, they stick out their tongue, and the tongue is shaped like a piece of cake so that they can trap Sims and eat them. Thankfully, the first time it happens, you just get vored. It's soft vor. You come back. But then the second time, you get vored for real. Gorvor. My man is so fucking happy to be a plant. He was delighted to be turned into a plant. Here, he has a permanent moodlet. Happy +1, be the plant sim from eating the forbidden fruit of the plant sim. Arthur has become a plant sim. Make sure to feed Arthur with plenty of water and sunlight. And this is his boyfriend, Johnny Zest, and he's a comedian. He's an up-and-coming comedian anyway. He was working at a daycare when we fell in love. And my guy makes enough money for the both of them, but instead of having him like quit his daycare job, I just decided to support his career as a stand-up comedian. First, I built this little sort of little side venue on the side of the house so that he could practice telling jokes. And for a long time, it was just Arthur and Johnny just in here, and Arthur would be sitting at the table clapping and cheering, and then Johnny would be making us silly jokes up here. And so anyway, because I thought it was unfair that Arthur had a huge basement and Johnny didn't, so I ended up making Johnny a venue like in one of the ground floors. So this is Arthur is a famous author. I did it as a joke because I think it's funny. His name came from Arthur as an author and then Fontaine as in like fonts. I wanted to be a goober about it. And so this is this little study where he writes books, and now he's an up and coming writer. He's pretty good. People like his books. Some of his books sell for 100 or more. And so over here, I have the entrance to a little shop where I used to sell the books. I don't anymore because now I'm mostly living off royalties. But if you come down this ladder, which people do, because right now they're just going down to the other ladder, but they used to come through for this room, which is the bookstore or the library now. And so I was messing around with shelves. I'm not done, so it kind of looks crappy right now. But this is where I was displaying my famous writing, and here's where you could buy copies of them, and I just have a bunch of other stuff just for fun, like a frog display and this guy, which I love. Not really anything special going on there. I do have some custom content, for instance, these candles, which are really cool, which they just give mood influence in the room. So I have some happy candles in here because I'm drugging the people into wanting to buy more books. It's great. Anyway, and I was very happy with this weird little floor piece that I made by basically making a pool with a window that looked onto an empty room with a decoration in it. It's really weird, but I love the effect. It's like kind of spooky. This is what it looks like on the floor down. It's just kind of like a pool that looks on to a room with a with a sun in it. That's basically it. They could probably swim in it, but I have a fence around it, so nobody goes in. I thought that was cool. And this is just so that there is a room. It's not for any particular reason. It mostly just holds the ladder. They don't seem to notice it. I think this is supposed to be the dirt beneath the floor, but like this floor doesn't have a bottom, and then one below it doesn't have a top. So I think technically you should be able to see through. I think I did something wrong. But they just sort of go down here. You can sort of see that this top of the ladder is technically still the top of the ladder that's in the library. And then this black space is where the
BKY.
next one down is supposed to be. Then you have a grand staircase instead of a ladder. Yes, but they're very big. They're very big and therefore kind of tricky to place in a good way. So I thought the ladder was funny. The idea that people have to climb vertically up and down in order to get somewhere, plus they all overlap on each other when they're climbing. Personally, it's just amusing for me.
BKY.
Pretty inconvenient in real life. Yes, that's one of the nice things about The Sims. So you can do some pretty weird stuff. It kind of seems like someone's knocking on my door. I will be back. Alright, change of plan, buckaroos. We have a thing that didn't know I was doing today that I'm doing today. So I gotta call it here, but I'll probably be back later today in like a couple hours. So thanks for stopping by, BKY. I'll see y'all later.
BKY.
Bye.